Hi viewers, we are with the presentation of Barclays Bank and their capital risk management strategy. Next slide please. Yeah, introduction. Just brief introduction of the bank. Barclays Bank is ranked 6th of its investment banking fees as the strongest bank. And capital risk. What is capital risk? The inability of the capital, maintaining the capital risk of a bank, Barclays Bank provides these three inabilities. These are inability to support business activity, to meet regulatory requirements, and the changes to credit ratings. How? Support business activity. If there is no adequate capital in the bank, it cannot maintain its business activity by lending loans. Second, regulatory requirements. There are certain regulatory requirements by RBI which they should follow. And if that is not followed, again that leads to a credit rating impact. That credit rating is always given an underlying credit rating. Next slide please. Yeah, risk management is achieved by Barclays Bank through some of its primary objectives. So-called primary objectives are, it's maintaining adequate capital to cover group's current and forecast business needs. That means it maintains some part of its capital at adequate capital ratio. A strong credit rating, obviously it will be a primary objective, and also a group's growth and strategic options like plans for group growth of the bank. Yeah, Barclays capital risk management is mainly based on demand and supply chain. What's the demand of the customers who come into the bank and how much they supply. It all regulates between this, and the capital management is taken care of with this. Next slide please. Yeah, main approach for Barclays Bank are few. They are capital planning, capital allocation, risk identification, stress testing, risk mitigation, and transferability of capital. Let's discuss one by one. Capital planning. What is capital planning? Always the capital which bank maintains should be of quality and quantity. It can be of two types, up to bottom and bottom to up approach, but it must maintain the quality and quantity of the capital. Second, capital allocation. There are some types of risks which include in this capital allocation. This risk should be taken care, and bank committee should have an informed approach to think of the ahead of market's ability and markets like inflation and deflation problems, so that they can allocate their capital. Risk identification. Some of the risk identification strategies they can think of the risk, market risk, operational risk, or credit risk which come under these, and they can think of it before. Stress testing. Some of the stress which come from economic and other activities also come under stress, and they should have a committee which looks after their stress testing and the capability of the capital to look after their stress. Risk mitigation. How do they mitigate their risk? How do they control their risk? In case suddenly economic crisis happens, how do they mitigate? How do they absorb that risk? That all comes in risk mitigation and transferability of capital. Every bank can offer dividends at the end of the year. In that case, the dividends will be given under certain norms of might it be a local regulatory norms or a centralized regulatory norms. All comes under transferability of capital. How do they take care of their capital? Thank you. And next part will be carried on by my counterpart Vishal. Hi viewers, I am Vishal, and I will be continuing from where Swastik has completed. Now, this is the risk-weighted asset. Now, what exactly do you mean by risk-weighted asset? It is the bank's asset or off-balance sheet exposure, weighted according to the risk. Okay. Now, this approach is used basically by the bank because it is very easier to compare the performance of the bank across different geographies because they are having their branches in many locations. Other thing is that even the off-balance sheet items, they are also included in the capital adequacy calculations. Now if we see the table, risk-weighted assets of credit risk, counterparty risk, market risk, and operational risk. I am going to define every term one by one. Now what is credit risk? Now suppose a bank gives a loan to a customer, and if the customer defaults, then the bank is facing a credit risk. Counterparty risk. If the organization is not paying on bonds, on trade credit, that is called counterparty risk. If we see what is market risk, I mean the value of the portfolio will decline due to changes in the market risk. For example, equity risk, interest rate risk, etc. And operational risk. Operational risk is the failure within the banking system and by the people. For example, let's say a customer has came to the bank and he has told the banker to credit 10,000 rupees. instead of rating 10,000, the banker has rated 1 lakh. That is the operational risk. So this is the table which shows the figures, and if you see that there has been a decrease in all the items to a certain extent. Now this is because, and if you see the overall conclusion, the overall group weighted risk weighted assets has decreased by 2% from the year 2010 to 2011, primarily driven by many factors such as 26 billion decrease across credit, counterparty and market risk, and a 4 billion offset by a stress testing. Next slide please. Now this is the capital ratios, key capital ratios, which shows that in the Basel III it is 7%, and as of 31st December 2011 it is 11, and on 2010 it was 10.8, and Tier 1 is 12.9 and 13.5%, and total capital is 16.4 and 16.9%. Now what exactly do you mean by Tier 1 capital? Basel III defines Tier 1 capital as a combination of common equity plus retained earnings, and there has been an increase in this in the maintenance of Tier 1 capital. These are considered as permanent form of capital, and see, they have told that you have to maintain around 7%, but they have maintained 11%. This is because for the safety of them, and they have just like a buffer. For example, if certain risk happens in the economy, they have adequate capital for the proper functioning of the bank. Now, economic capital. Before the mix-in, we have said what is regulatory capital and what is economic capital. Now, regulatory capital was a term used when a bank has to maintain adequate capital according to rules and regulations as told by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, and later it was amended by the National Supervising Authority. Now, this economic capital is a capital, it's a measure of risk in terms of capital maintained by the banking management itself. And this economic capital may differ from bank to bank by assessing on various parameters such as credit risk, market risk, operational risk, and fixed asset risk, etc. Next slide. Now this is the average economic capital allocation by the risk type. This is the wholesale credit risk. If you see that from 2011 to 2010 there has been a slight decrease, and this is the retail credit risk. Again, if you see that there is an increase in it from the 2010 to 2011, and operational risk is also there is an increase, and significant increase in the market risk, and a slight decrease in the fixed asset risk, and a slight decrease in the other risk. Now, I have explained about credit risk, operational risk, and market risk. I'll explain what is wholesale credit risk. So, what happens in a bank is that there is within the credit risk and market risk department, there is a credit risk team which implements the credit risk strategy approved by the banking board. And with their strategy, this is the risk they have come up with. The next slide. Now, they also face risk due to foreign exchange movements. Now, if the foreign currency if it is quite volatile, or it is moving from this person to this person, then they have to maintain their risk strategy in such a way that they can minimize the risk due to the fluctuations in the foreign exchange happening. And the quality of capital. This means that there has been in Basel III there has been a pure focus on increasing the equity capital as a principal component of the Tier 1 capital, which is higher than the minimum capital ratios, and there has been changes to the regulatory deductions from the shareholders' equity. Thank you.